If you used to think that cheapening out on power supplies is a bad idea, Deepcool would say you, hold my beer. So this is Deepcool's PK lineup. This is their all-new lineup of ultra affordable PSUs that do not completely suck. Now I'm not going to review this because I do not have the proper equipment to do so, but here I am with an overview of this thing. Before that, this video is brought to you by MSI. Buy select MSI products like their latest motherboards, power supplies and coolers and get up to $100 worth of Steam gift cards. This offer is available till 31st of May, so head over to the link in the description and redeem your gift cards today. Now this is also my first shot at talking about PSUs, so forgive me if I say something stupid. Now the packaging did not follow Deepcool's all-white layout that we saw on the AK400. Instead, it is a bit older and we have seen this design before. Anyways, I still like the focus on minimalism and the PSU was tightly packed inside. No space wasted. Now overall, the unboxing experience was quite good at 7.5 of 10. Now although we are giving scores, we will not average this product because we are not properly reviewing it. Moving on, I like the full black build of this PSU. The power button is also painted in teal, so that looks dope. And we also have a small Deepcool logo on both sides and that has also been painted in teal. Other than that, we also see a full 120mm fan that takes up most of the top intake. Overall, this thing looks quite minimalist, and although there's not a lot of say, I kind of like its design. An 8 of 10 for the looks. Now jumping into the cables, this PSU does pack a lot of them. You have your very necessary 24-pin ATX power connector, which has also been split into a 20+4 form factor to fit some older motherboards as well. Now coming to the best part, this PSU has dual CPU EPS connectors. That amounts to a total of 16 CPU power connectors, and this is really impressive provided the latest Intel Alder Lake processors do need a lot of power, and 550W power supplies are going to be enough for an Alder Lake plus no GPU build. Now this PSU has two 8-pin PCIe connectors, and that is going to be fine because you cannot plug in a GPU which requires more than 2 PCIe connectors with a 550W power supply. Now coming to the accessories connectors, this PSU does include 6 SATA connectors which have been distributed across 2 cables, and it also comes with 3 Molex connectors if for some reason you are still using Molex power. I mean, these cables are a literal fire hazard. At the end of the day, this PSU comes with all cables you could possibly ask from a budget power supply. An 8 of 10. Okay, let us open up this thing now. Taking this power supply apart is quite simple. It is protected securely by 4 Phillips head screws at the top, and one of them has a warranty seal. So once you take these screws off, your warranty is void, so better do not try this at home. Now as you take this power supply apart, this front panel slides off and it has the fan just built into it. So let's talk about this fan a bit. It is from an OEM named Martech. I've never heard of them, but it turns out they make server grade fans, and this thing is indeed a server grade fan. But this power connector is 2-pin. It does not even have voltage control. And also a part of this fan has been protected by an acrylic, so this will help in concentrating the airflow to the parts which only need it. This is quite clever, to be honest. This fan is rated for 12 volts at 0.42 amperes, so it will pull a total of 5.04 watts, and that is quite decent for a power supply fan. And if you also have a closer look, you will find out that the Deepcool branding has been done by using an acrylic panel which is of teal color. I don't know whether you can see it, but Deepcool has not painted the metal teal. They have used an acrylic panel over here. Why do you need to over-engineer stuff? This is useless. Now this PSU, oh my god, it is a bit heavy, but it is based on an OEM design from a company named Channelville Technology, or CWT. It is a Taiwanese company and they are quite well known in the PSU OEM market. But since this OEM designer is from Taiwan, all of the components you will find inside this thing are either Taiwanese or Chinese, because a lot of Taiwanese companies have their factories in China. Now the majority of the capacitors that you would find on this thing are electrolytic, and this big chunkus radial filter capacitor is a TPO TCA3. Now forgive me if I pronounce that wrong, I'm not really good with Chinese pronunciations. Now this capacitor is rated for a massive 6,000 to 10,000 hours at 105 degrees. Now this is really impressive, and if this capacitor can really live up to that mark, well, I will be impressed. So just the fact that this capacitor has originated from Taiwan do not let you scare away. It has been 15 years since the capacitor plague ended. CWT, however, opts for a more cost-saving route with the other capacitors on this thing because they are from Junfu and not TPO. Also, most of the capacitors are electrolytic, so that is some fancy cost saving as well. But the two capacitors on the DC board are solid polymer, so I think that is quite good. Now, although we see so many cost-saving techniques, this PSU does include a MOV. Now, I could not find out which varistor is this thing because just look at how it has been buried in there. The Y capacitors on this thing are KL332M caps and they originate from Taiwan as well. Now let us talk about the rectifiers. They are ST Microelectronics STTH8S06. Yeah, that was a mouthful. Now, ST Microelectronics is a Swiss semiconductor manufacturer. All of the rectifiers have been attached to quite sizable heat sinks, so that will help them keep them quite cool. The voltage regulators have also been attached to these heat sinks, but I really could not find out which models they were because it is almost impossible to read letters and numbers in this very tiny gap. Now the transformers on this PSU are CWT branded. Now the reason I'm using air quotes is because they are not manufactured by CWT. Now the main AC to 12 volt DC transformer is the ERL35, which belongs to the ER series of CWT but is manufactured by a Guangdong based company named Misun Technology. Now the other 12 volt to 5 volt DC and the 12 volt to 3.3 volt DC transformers are from CWT's EE lineup of transformers. Now I could not figure out who is the manufacturer of these transformers because of the dearth of information on the internet. Now the PCB on which all of these components sit is completely black and its quality is quite good. This PSU also has all of the protections you could possibly ask for, so you have a complete peace of mind. Overall, there are a few cost cuttings here and there, but hey, this PSU still packs all of the components one could possibly ask for, and this makes this design even more appealing. A 7 of 10 easily. Now coming to the value for money aspect of this PSU, it will sell for around 3,500 rupees or $50 in the US market. Now at this price point, there are a lot of competitors in the market like Cooler Master's MWE V2, Antec's NE550M, the Thermaltake TR2 and the Corsair CV550. Now some of these competitors are definitely worse than this PSU, but some others are really up to the par with this thing. But since you can find this thing for almost around 3,500 rupees, it gives Deepcool a bit of a competitive edge because the other PSUs go for almost 4,000 rupees like all of the time. Overall, good value for money. A 7 of 10. Oh my god, I'm sweating like crazy. I hate summer. Now the PK550D is a solid competitor and it is good to see more offerings at this very competitive price point. So that wraps it up. If you want to check out a detailed unboxing of this thing, go check out the video I uploaded the other day. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more.